Yeah, you guys excited? Because I'm excited. Cool, let me go ahead and get the, first and foremost, get the projector video going for us. There we go. All right, guys, y'all know the drill. We're gonna go ahead and get a couple of announcements out of the way. Yeah, what do you guys prefer? You want some lights or no lights? How's the crowd feeling tonight?
No lights.
I don't understand any of that. Some lights?
No.
No lights?
No lights. Dark.
Some lights. Some lights.
The media director wants some lights, so we're gonna have to listen to him. Sorry, your vote doesn't matter. All right, cool. Anyways, hey guys, thank you so much for showing up to our event tonight. We're very excited for our presentation. Show of hands, whose is like your first time showing up to a Pegasus Pilots event? Don't put your hand up. Okay, good. Got some new faces in the room. Thank you guys for showing up. Just to kind of give you the rundown for how this normally works. We say the event's over at the end, it's not really over. We say that for the sake of saying that. Please feel free to come up, talk to us, socialize with everybody here, especially with some of the announcements that we're gonna be giving today and updates you're probably going to want to. Anyways, hello. How you guys doing?
Good.
Was the traffic bad out there?
It was really bad.
I bet.
The Dancing with the Stars stuff.
I had no idea this was going on today, but whatever, we're gonna run with it. Apparently Dancing with the Stars is on campus. Everyone, yay. All right, so you guys know the deal. QR code's on the screen. This means you pull out your phone and you do that. So I'll let you guys fill it out real quick. And then I'm going to judge when you're done, based when your phone has been put down. Just an FYI for those of our members who are new, the attendance forms that we usually put out are done with a purpose. So whenever we say, oh, we're doing an event and we're gonna be doing a facility tour or we're gonna be doing this or whatever it might be, we say that, but then we go look at the attendance. Like, oh, all right, well, how many events have you been to? And then we kind of get an idea, so that way, the more you show up, the more you are rewarded. That's the idea. So in the future, if you want to get in on any of our facility tours or unique closed-off engagements with guest speakers or whatever it might be, that's the way of doing so. So I'm gonna walk around the room, maybe invade your privacy, maybe not. See where everyone's at. Okay, I'll take that everyone's done. Cool, it wasn't that one. It was like, what, 2 questions, I think, right?
Yep.
Cool. Making sure I put the right form up there. At least I did my job right. All right, so we talked about this before. This is not exactly a new announcement, but it's something that we are going to continue to push, especially because this is our only source of income throughout the year for those of you who are new. In case you don't get the idea behind our organization, we actually don't charge any dues. We don't think it's fair to you unless we're offering you something of value. That is, you decide to pursue flight training at one of our partner organizations, or you want to buy us a t-shirt, you know, something like that, buy one of our t-shirts, I should say. That's the only time you would really be, quote unquote, paying us. Until then, we believe the value that you guys would get is by showing up to our events. So Sun Fun, however, is the one opportunity that we have every year to actually get some money in our pockets. So, of course, we're going to push that event quite heavily. The details, the days, and the times have not changed. So, you get free parking and admission to the air show. It's the second largest air show in the country, and it's right here in our backyard. And by backyard, I mean like an hour away, but still pretty close, out in Lakeland, right? Super awesome event. By a show of hands, who has gone to Sun and Fun before? Oh, okay. All right, keep those hands up. Who's gone to the night show at Sun and Fun? Aw, that's disappointing. We're gonna fix that this year though, aren't we? Jared! You've been to the night show at Sun and Fun, right?
Oh yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, and it was good?
It was very good.
He said it was good, so you better go. All right, so we have that going on. You get free lunch, a t-shirt. I'm sure you guys can read, so I'm not gonna go over everything. The picture off to the right was our picture that we got when we were doing our volunteering last year, right at the hot air balloon launch. That was pretty sweet. And then, of course, call me biased, but I'm a huge fan of the theme this year. America. So a huge fan of it. Please pull up. All right, so for those of you who have not yet signed up, that's our volunteering sign-up form. Please just grab a picture of that. If you want to go ahead and get that filled out when you can, please get that done. And of course, if you guys have any questions about volunteering for Sun and Fun, please approach me after the event, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. So I'm now going to turn over our presentation to somebody who's been aspiring to become a Hurricane Hunter pilot almost since the moment that he stepped foot onto this campus. By chance, his last year at UCF, so he's going to be going out with a bang. If you guys would please give a round of applause to Mr. Jovan Alfonso, and he's going to go ahead and break down this tour. Here we go.
Break down my story. Tour.
Yeah.
All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Jovan. So, a lot of you know me. I'm the secretary here. I'm the officer. So, I want to be a NOAA hurricane hunting pilot. That's my end goal. That's my dream. So, recently I was able to get in contact with one of the main people at the base at their national headquarters in Lakeland to schedule us a tour coming up this Friday, April 3rd at their main hangar. So, if you could. So, if you guys do want to attend, we're going to be closing out, signups tomorrow, and the requirements simply are you got to be dressed in business casual, something like me or Andrew. You got to be a citizen, prepared to engage and ask questions, be on your best behavior, and we will be eating lunch at the nearby airport. And after, we may have a surprise secret tour at another place, but we're trying to confirm that.
That is confirmed.
That is confirmed. Oh, okay. Well, it's been confirmed now. So if you guys are interested, sign up, DM the Instagram. You can talk to me, DM me, whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Just a little side note. We did have a good number of people who have already reached out to us, and they're on that roster. So this isn't for you. This is just a nice, convenient place for Jovan to not have to go through a billion different contacts after this event is over. It's going to be a nice, streamlined process for him. So if you are not yet on the roster, but you are interested in seeing how the NOAA Hurricane Hunters operate, eating lunch at the airport. So this is a restaurant that is inside the Lakeland Airport with an awesome view, might I say. And also seeing the behind the scenes look at how the second largest air show in the country operates. This is your opportunity. I said all the buzzwords, right? Did I?
Did, yeah.
Cool, all right. Well, hey, round of applause for our Secretary, Mr. Jovan, everyone. And I need to get that microphone from you. Media director doesn't mad at me. You're welcome. And then next, we're going to talk about something that I'm pretty excited for. So, we've had a couple interactions with, you're gonna hear me say GOA, that's the, these guys, Greater Orlando Aviation Authority. So we've had a couple interactions with these guys. We did a control tower tour, we did a TRACON tour, which is on the property of the International Airport. And most recently, me and a handful of other members got to do a terminal expansion trial. So they're basically opening up a couple new gates inside Terminal C. They had us be pretend passengers. You might have saw on the Instagram post about it. They gave us like a fake boarding pass, a fake destination. We actually boarded the jet bridge. I brought an empty suitcase to TSA. We had a fake flight, right? Good fun though. And while I was there, I got to meet a couple cool people. And by cool people, I mean people that are important for GOA and how they get things running. And it was pretty cool when I walked up there, might I say. When I walked up and said, hey, what's up? My name's Andrew and I'm from Pegasus Pilots. Oh yeah, we heard about you. I was like, oh. That was a cool moment, not gonna lie. Try not to show it, but very happy to hear that. And most importantly, we actually had somebody from GOA reach out to us saying, hey, we love what you guys do. We think you guys are an excellent program. Please reach out if you have any questions. You guys know me, I have a lot of questions. So of course I have to take advantage of that. And the nice thing about this opportunity for this internship is not only does this give you the chance of getting an internship at the largest class Bravo in the state of Florida, one of the top 10 in the entire country, but this is an opportunity that as long as they like you, should end in a job offer. So the details are up on the screen. I'm assuming you guys can read all that stuff. But from what I've been told, especially with us being an aviation or a pilot-focused club, especially airfield operations, the airline division, those are kind of the areas that are going to appeal to you guys the most. Now, of course, if you're a finance major, or like I know some members are business, finance related, that's also an opportunity for you to get your way in. And another nice little detail that I would like to go ahead and put up on the screen is that these are some of the finer details that you will not get by going out and looking this up on Google. But these are some of the finer details that I was able to get by talking to some of the right people. Because if you go there onto the application portal, good job at taking a picture of it. Thank you for reminding me. Please take a picture of these slides, right? This isn't like copyrighted, right? These are some of the details that I got by talking to the right folks. If you go into the application portal, you can make a Google account, you can make a LinkedIn and log in. Don't do that. Make a career portal account directly and then apply, all right? The idea with our organization from day one has always been that we're not going to be a flight school. We're not going to replace your flight training, but rather supplement it. And this is another example of what we're trying to do. We're not going to necessarily get you in the door like, dog, if you got like a 0.9 GPA, I'm sorry, but they might not take you. But what we can do is say, okay, you're pretty competitive, but we've got a couple resources that you could take advantage of. So this is just one way of doing that. Another way of doing that, man, I really wish there was a club on campus that, I say this all the time, you guys are probably sick of it. I wish there was a club on campus that offered aviation resources. Oh, I don't know, one that had an aviation resume workshop. And Josh, it would have been nice if they recorded that on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That would have been really great, right? Oh, wait, there is. It's us. Wow, what a surprise. So anyways, if you guys would like to, we do have that resource out there available for you if you would like. So please do check the Discord. That's where we have the link to our aviation resume workshop, a sample resume that was used during the presentation available to you. I see a hand. Is that a question?
Yeah.
Tell
Are we
me.
applying for the job position or are we applying for an internship position? Or is it just like both hand in hand?
It is an internship position that's 12 weeks long, and the unofficially spoken rule, from what I understand, is that if they like you, you get a job offer. Make sense?
Thank you.
Cool, you're welcome. All right, so that being said, those are all the updates I have for that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to our media director, our Discord, is that what you wanna be known by, the Discord expert?
Rather get pancaked by a bus driver. Anyway. Excuse me. Hey everyone, good evening. Thank you all so much for coming here. At an awesome aviation club on campus, somehow I always end up talking about Discord of all things. Not exactly what I imagined, but I just wanted to give this a quick shout out because we have a few more resources we put up. First, if you guys are interested in growing your LinkedIns directly related to our aviation resume workshop, we created a channel where you guys can connect with other people in the club and hopefully meet some other folks interested in aviation through that way. Build your network, might get you a job, might not. I personally don't like LinkedIn very much, but it's one of those things you do to help you out. And then also our sample aviation resume. This is a huge resource. It's formatted, it's got everything you need. It's personally modeled for someone who was looking for a job in Part 91 corporate aviation, but it's a great way to start if you have flight time and you're looking for a flying related job. So that's up there on the server guide. And lastly, be on the lookout for the Sun and Fun 2026 channel. All our coordination is going to be probably through the Discord. I make a channel and there's threads for each day. If you guys want to carpool, figure out what's going on, keep an eye out for that. I know Andrew already talked about it, but personally, if there's one air show you ever go to in your life, this is a really great one. I'm going to be there all week with a World War II C-47 and 2 Stearmans. So if you guys want someone to take you around, I'd be more than happy to. Hopefully a friendly face there. But with that being said, I think that's about it. Lastly, if you guys have any suggestions, want to contribute to it, shoot me a DM, and if you guys ever miss a GBM, we do record them all, so feel free to check them out. But I'm going to pass it back to Andrew. Thank you, everyone.
All right, cool. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it.
I wish they had the normal mics.
Yeah, we've never had an instance where they actually ran out of all of them. Yeah, how that happened? Hey, we got one. It's fine.
Maybe everyone decided to record Dancing with the Stars.
You know what? That is a plausible theory, so I'll run with that. All right, cool. Well, anyways, I'm sure you guys want to hear me talk for another half hour. No, you don't. But let me get one or two more things out of the way, and that's it. Lastly, I just want to talk about some of our upcoming events. We are during that point where we're really, I don't like to say it, but we're approaching the end of the semester. That means we can't do much left for the spring, but it's fine. We have a couple more things left before our semester is officially over, okay? We kind of have that 3-in-1 combo, April 3rd, Hurricane Hunter Tour. We're doing that lunch at Sora Eatery at the Lakeland Airport, and then a Sun and Fun behind the scenes look, Followed up with that, we have a AFROTC cadet that's going to be speaking on April 9th, and then of course, our volunteering at Sun and Fun. Now, I'm all done with all of my talking, but before I do move on, I want to say a huge thank you to our very own Mr. Lance Harmon, who is not here tonight due to a schedule conflict, but he is the reason why this connection happened, right? As some of y'all may remember from our prior workshops, relationships are everything, and that's the reason why we have our guest speaker for tonight. And man, I mean, I saw that list on this guy's resume. I was like, there's no way this dude's real. So whether it's the graduate physics degree, flying Blackhawks in the Army, test pilot instructor, being one of the final 30 applicants out of 12,000 for NASA, volunteer EMT, I can go on and on and on. Anyways, very great guy. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, a round of applause for our guest speaker, Mr. Brandon Dotson. Here we go.
Switch it over. Okay. Throw this on.
You got next slides and all that, right?
Yeah. All right, so good evening, everybody. While we're pulling up the slides here, thanks for coming to Dancing with the Stars. I think that's what this is. Yeah. All right, sweet. Yeah, so I'm Brandon Dotson. Are we good?
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay, cool. So I am actually a lieutenant colonel in the Army. I'm an instructor at the Navy Test Pilot School, so there are other services there. And yes, I am a former UCF alum. I just finished my PhD here about a year ago. I'm in civilian clothes, unfortunately, because we're not supposed to be wearing our stuff out and about these days with everything going on. So I'm trying to blend in and look like a cool, hip college student again. But I'm going to give a talk here. I'm just basically going to walk through what it is I do, how I got to where I am. I'll kind of go over my career, hopefully show you a bunch of pictures and videos of some cool planes and helicopters and stuff that I've flown, talk about some space stuff, and then open it up for questions. So I guess before we get started, show of hands, how many here are actually pilots? Okay, good amount. Any helicopter people? Okay. How many are just here for space, NASA stuff? Okay, all right. You guys purposely sat on that side, cool. And then how many are here just because there's free pizza? Is that yeah, right. Those are my people. All right, cool. Nice. Well, yeah, so I am a test pilot instructor, which I guess implies that I am also a test pilot and have been a test pilot for the military, and I'm teaching and training test pilots now. So what is a test pilot? I know that sounds like a silly question. I get this a lot when people are like, yeah, but what do you actually do? So test pilots, we basically fly anytime there's brand new aircraft or new systems. We go out and try to break them is kind of our main thing. We go out and find the limits of that aircraft and figure out where it's safe to operate and where it's not safe to operate. So for my pilot folks in the room, we're the ones who go out and make those charts that you actually have, or the warnings and cautions that are in your manual that say don't do this, because we're the ones who go out and intentionally do it, and we're oh, that was sketchy. Yeah, tell them not to do that. So, and really, along those lines, the main part of that is being comfortable in an uncomfortable situation is kind of the main thing we teach and train. So as an Army guy, I went through Navy Test Pilot School, and then here's some of the flight test projects that I personally worked on. So I am normally an Apache pilot, which is the one in the top left there. So I think I'm in the back seat in this picture. We were testing a new radar system, and we went out over the Gulf of America now, I guess, way out, hovering at 200 feet over the water. It's very sketch for an Army person. The one in the top middle there, I was doing icing certification on that helicopter. So we go up to Michigan, and that Chinook in front of it has a boom that sprays water, and it freezes on the aircraft, and we use that to actually do all the icing certification. So the same stuff that you see in your operator's manuals about don't fly into icing, I got that data point. It doesn't, it's not great. Got to fly some Black Hawk stuff on the side out in all over the place. This picture was from when we were doing 5G testing out in Salt Lake, just hovering next to a 5G antenna, which I'm sure has no lasting health implications. But, and then more recently, these two on the bottom, we've got the weird coax one and then the tilt rotor. The Army is buying a new helicopter for the first time in a little while, and so I was actually the lead of that program for 2 years before I went back doing other Army stuff, and then flying King Airs too, just because those are pretty dope. But so what's the best part of the job? You get to do some new stuff every day. So this video in the top left is me doing a missile test off the Apache. Wait for it. Wow, cool, dope. Yeah, so some of the results from the icing testing. This one is me flying Air Force V-22, the tilt rotor, which was pretty wild, and then just flying helicopters in New York City. Cool, so how do you become a test pilot? Well, you have to go to a test pilot school. There's only a handful in the world. So like I mentioned, I work at Navy Test Pilot School, which is up at Pax River. It's kind of close to DC-ish. The Air Force has a test pilot school out at Edwards in California. There's a UK one at Boscombe Down, the French one in Epner, and then international partners come through the school. Like where I'm at Navy, we have Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Air Force. Like right now we've got people from like Israel, Finland, Switzerland, like all over that come. But you don't have to go to a military school to be a test pilot. I think a lot of you have already mentioned this tonight. There's this like bonus one out in Edwards, the National Test Pilot School, which is a little bit smaller, maybe not quite as many toys as Uncle Sam has in the, in the hangar, but still a really good opportunity. And they actually do like flight test degrees and short courses and stuff for money. So if you have some extra cash, you could give it to me, or you could spend it on flying some cool stuff out of Edwards. So for me, I went to Navy Test Pilot School. You maybe see a younger, skinnier version of me in the middle of the picture there. This is our graduating class. Pretty awesome opportunity. There's a lot of different uniforms there, right? Like you kind of get to fly with all different types. Flying with jet people as your co-pilot in an aircraft that neither of you have any hours in, and going out and like trying, like pulling off engines and trying to like find the limit. It's pretty high adventure, definitely big boy and big girl rules there, but that's kind of like the whole point of what we do. So how did I get to test pilot school? So I'll bore you with my career path here. So being Army, I actually went to West Point, the U.S. Military Academy. That's where I did my undergrad. So I did a double major in physics and chemistry there. I swear I have like friends, I just like math and science. I was lucky enough when I graduated from West Point that I ended up getting a fellowship, and the Army like let me go straight to grad school as a lieutenant. So I picked a school that purposely did not have an ROTC program, and that was in Southern California, so I could like go chill. And did 2 years there in Caltech doing a master's. Had a great opportunity to work at the Jet Propulsion Lab while I was out there as well, which is for my space side of the room over here. That's where all the like interplanetary missions and stuff go. Then went straight from SoCal to Army Flight School in Fort Rucker, Alabama, which is like night and day difference. Getting to fly these little news choppers to start, OH-58s, and then eventually working into the Apache. Then I went up to Fort Campbell, Kentucky with the 101st Airborne after that, flying Apaches. So I was platoon leader there, had I think it was 4 aircraft. I was like in my early to mid 20s, responsible for like 4 Apache helicopters, all the pilots, maintainers, and equipment and all that jazz. So I'm really glad that nobody crashed any of those, because I don't think I could buy one if I tried. Just to keep you awake, here's some random videos of flying the Apaches. This is like just a low-level one, bombing around treetop level. This isn't quite what we would call nap of the earth. This is definitely like low level, but our main job in the Apache is we're made to kill tanks, really. That's kind of what it was designed to do. So we are really good at sneaking up on like radar systems and taking those out. So we practice flying like down in the trees in the radar clutter to try to go do that. So this is a tip. I'm sorry for the vertical iPhone footage. This was like just poor showing, but this is a typical Friday night going into what we call a FARP, or a forward arming refueling point. So part of our training, we have to go out and shoot rounds like all the time to stay proficient in aerial gunnery and make sure we're good with our craft. So before you go out and shoot on the range, you go out to one of these points, and that's where you get loaded up with gas and ammo, and you take on rockets. And I just thought it was dope because like you see all these Apaches that are taking on weapons as we're like coming in and getting ready to go out on the range. But maybe something a little more cool once you get loaded up, then you go out, and this is us doing some diving fire out on the range on a Friday night. This is another like, wait for it. So yeah, it's usually a fan favorite. You guys seem very underwhelmed. So doing all that train up, and then I basically took that unit that I was in charge of, and we deployed to Afghanistan. So I was there flying Apaches all over Afghanistan. Honestly, it was like a really beautiful country. definitely some sketchy situations, but like, you know, in terms of a pilot, it was like the best thing because I flew like all day, every day. You get to do your job and not have to like mess around with emails and PowerPoint and stuff. And there's nothing else to do besides like work out and fly, so it's like a really good time. But then I came back and took command of a company. So a company in the Army is like multiple platoons, so I went from like a platoon leader to like a bigger chunk. That's me out there with the dude out in front, you know, like the good old Army propaganda that makes you want to join, and then like some experiences may vary. But they did some more flight training before actually finally showing up to the test pilot school in 2018 as a student, which is pretty dope. So I probably didn't mention this. I've got some like lessons learned from all of this that I wish I'd kind of known when I was like maybe in your shoes. So the first of which is like, that's a lot of work to do all of that. So like, you know, whatever you want to do, you don't necessarily have to want to be a test pilot or whatever, but like a good life lesson is like work your butt off. So what drives me for my side of the room over here, I always wanted to be an astronaut. I think we've got a few of those in the audience. So even from when I was a little boy, that's like what I wanted to do. That's like why I went to West Point. I was fortunate enough to do some internships down at the astronaut office in Houston, a couple when I was in college, which was awesome. Getting to actually like, this is, I think before selfies were like a thing in the space shuttle back in the day. And then the picture in the suit with the mustache is what happens when pilots in your unit find out you want to be an astronaut, and they're good with Photoshop, so that's what that is. So part of that is like I aligned everything in my career to try to get me there, including what I was doing on my like personal life, which I think Andrew kind of alluded to. So I did all of the things that I could to try to like prep my resume for that. So I like became a scuba instructor, EMT, did like ice diving, jumped out of a lot of airplanes, really into sailing and like some cave diving and stuff. You don't have to do those things to be an astronaut, turns out, right? Like I'm not an astronaut, to be clear. Like the point is like, because I was trying to become an astronaut, I was trying all these new things that I probably wouldn't have otherwise experienced, and they were all like very dope and helped shape me like into who I am today. So lesson number 2, don't be afraid to try new things, because there's some cool stuff out there. So my other passion, I know we were chatting about this earlier, seaplanes. Has anybody flown a seaplane here or a float plane? Yeah, they're pretty dope. I would highly recommend. So after test pilot school, I made the very practical purchase, rewarding myself for graduating. I bought this plane, which is an amphib, so it has like retractable gear, and it was very, very sick, just flying around with the door open and like just living life, flying into like random lakes and like I used to take it camping, where you could like drive up a boat launch ramp and just like set a tent up underneath the wing and chill. Definitely a lot of fun. And that aircraft was my baby. Like I was always in the hangar, like cleaning the bugs off of it and like pretty much flying it all the time. Until one day, my buddy, who was a former Apache guy with me, he was my stick buddy in flight school. We went through flight school together. We went out to the lake and, well, we flipped it over. This is them plucking it out of the water with a crane. But luckily, both of us got out okay. That's them putting it on a bridge with said crane. So the story on this one is, we were out there all day doing landings, right? I was trying to teach them how to land. We decided, like, because I was cheap and I didn't want to like pay the $6 for gas at the Class Charlie airport that I worked at, we stopped at a little airport that was right next to the lake, got gas on land, right, wheels down. When we took off out of there, we were headed home and it was like, well, let's just do one more landing, right? Like, end of the day, the sun's going down, we've been out here all day. So we get busy talking about all the margaritas we're gonna drink afterwards and stuff, right? And I was in the back, it's a tandem aircraft. He's up front, he's got all the switches, and in the back I've got like stick and rudder and throttle. And I remember saying like, oh, gear is up for water landing, and he was like, yeah, man, yeah, it's up. And like, you know, I was the pilot in command. This is my airplane. Like I was a test pilot at this point, right? Like top of my game aviation wise. I did not double check like by physically looking out the window that like, yes, the gear are in fact up. So when we came in to land, we went from about 70 knots to 0 knots, like in 0.2 seconds. The front wheels hit and we kind of went like tail over nose. The front windscreen like exploded and there was like a wall of water that came in. Luckily both of us had been through like the dunker training like in the military, so we knew how to like, because it's incredibly disorienting when it happens. Like we do it in a pool here, you know, like to practice every like 4 years, you know it's coming, but when it happens in the real world, it's like, whoa, what just happened? And you're strapped in like upside down underwater. But luckily both of us got out. And to be honest, I think this made me a better pilot like overall, because like I definitely slowed down on my checklists. I definitely like, I'm like more methodical and deliberate about how I fly. And so the point here is like mistakes do happen. Even if you're like the top of your game, if you're a test pilot, like you can still flip over your baby in the water like that. So yeah, and so part of that too is like, you know, because of all those activities, I've been super blessed to like go all over the world and see all sorts of places and fly all sorts of rando things. I did a project with NASA up in the Arctic, which was pretty dope. Sailing around and scuba diving in like Australia and Hawaii. I spent about a month in Nepal working as an EMT up at Everest Base Camp, which was like really, really cool. Obviously Afghanistan. We do a lot of partnerships with allied countries, so like we go over and fly their stuff. So I got to fly this NH-90 in Sweden, which was pretty sick. I've got some videos coming up later of doing a similar one in Switzerland. And all that to say, like, you know, I had never realized when I started this like journey that I was gonna get to see the world and like fly all these random airplanes and do all these cool things and go to all these places, but that was mostly just because I was trying to like do the astronaut thing, right? And so I was like, this just kind of fell out from it. So follow your dreams. If you want to be a hurricane chaser wherever my dude went, he already bounced. Like, you know, you never know where it's going to take you. In that case, that one you do actually know where it's going to take you. But cool. So then, yeah, after all that, spent, you know, many years putting the old resume together, flying all this stuff, trying to be the best version of myself that I could be. This younger, skinnier version of me went through, this was in 2021, got invited to go down to NASA to do the first round interview. That went well. Went back for the final round interview in that case. So that's the final like 30 people that they bring in out of the 12,000 plus whatever. And then you go and you do it's mostly medical. You spend a lot of time. They look at you and how you interact with like teams and how well do you get along with others. Obviously there's some like tests and some physical stuff involved there, but then you don't hear anything and you wait and you wait and you wait some more and you wait some more. And then finally you get the big call, right? The one that you've been training your whole life for, that you've been like wanting to do since you were like, you know, in 3rd grade. And yeah, I'm not in this picture, so so I did not get the call that I wanted. It was a no. It was a, hey, you know, you were right there, you need to reapply. But what's cool is like, I know a lot of these people, I've flown with a lot of these people just because of my career, right? Like the guy in the back, like kind of just to the right in the middle, Marcos Barrios, he was the class behind me at test pilot school. Like I flew with him. One of the guys on the left with the goatee, like he was my instructor when I went through test pilot school. Like, so just to be in the same circle with some of these people is like pretty cool, even if you don't make it. Obviously, you know, it helps to make it. But the point is like, find your passion, whatever it is, and shape your career around it, because like you're gonna meet some cool people along the way, do some cool things. So after that, I was like, okay, well, now what do I do? I got assigned to a job down here, building simulators. So you guys know where the like Navy facility is, just like a block away. So that's how I ended up at UCF, because I was like, oh, true, like there's a school like literally across the street, like neat. I guess I'll finish my PhD. At that point, I'd already done like 2 masters, one through Georgia Tech and that one through Caltech. So then I was flying simulators during the day, and then I'd walk across the street and like come to class in these rooms that you're currently sitting in, and then I'd go back to be on a call with the Pentagon or whatever and like brief Congress, and then like go back to doing homework. So like working full time and doing some late nights in the lab. I don't know if you guys know Catherine Millwater at all. She was working with me for a little bit, doing some stuff. So part of that, my research, I was looking at how do like rocket plumes interact with lunar and Martian soils. So you've probably figured out by now that that fits in this like bigger picture, right? So that's what this is on the left, is me doing some testing out in Cali in their giant vacuum chamber out there. This is a video as well, which is what basically a plume looks like in vacuum, which I don't know, did like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these runs. But it's kind of like landing on the moon, just like, but yeah, so finally graduated in May of last year with the old PhD. And part of that is, while I spent the first year, like I was writing that PhD, is where I moved up to the Navy Test Pilot School where I currently work. So this is our inventory of aircraft that we have there. So we've got like a whole bunch of random stuff, because that's like the whole point of being a test pilot, right? Is like, if you're gonna go out and buy a car, you probably wanna go like test drive a few to see like what things you like, what features you don't like. We do that in airplanes and helicopters, right? So we put the students purposely in like things that are really old that nobody else is flying anymore, like the Otter or Beaver, those like high wing planes, or these like really old helicopters that are like very jank and not great at flying, because it teaches the students like how to make their observations, and it gives them stuff to go back and write about. They spend like half the day flying, the other half of the day in class, like academic class, and then the third half of the day writing reports on everything that they flew. So it's a very busy time. So one of my favorite exercises to teach, this is me flying in a Black Hawk. So when they do like the wind envelopes for helicopters, there's like a chart in the manual that says like, hey, don't land with a tailwind more than like 40 knots or whatever. If you're like, they use that for like landing on boats and stuff. I don't know, it's like Navy stuff. But the way that we develop those charts is we have a truck that drives down the runway with like a really sensitive anemometer on it that tells like wind speed and direction. And we fly in close formation next to them, and we put the aircraft in different like azimuths as we're flying. So in this case, we're flying backwards at 40 knots in close formation to the truck, which is pretty tight. Also, you can probably tell that the aircraft's like shaking and stuff. That's because like the handling qualities are not really good when you're flying backwards at 40 knots, which is the whole reason for us doing the testing. But so my job is like, I go out with the students and I teach them how to do this on this, and I can do it in real time in the cockpit, like while they're flying, and like fix whatever problem. So that's pretty cool. I'm also a glider instructor there as part of the schoolhouse. So has anybody done some gliding before? Yeah, it's pretty dope, right? Like, yeah, that definitely will make you a really good stick and rudder pilot, because like it's all energy management, and you get to learn to read the sky a little different, where like you notice where the birds are hanging out, not flapping their wings, or like where clouds are starting to form. Like that's where you hang out in a glider. I've been up for like over 2 hours before, like with no engine, right? Like it's crazy that works, but definitely recommend. I mentioned some of the foreign exchanges. This is me taking off from a glacier in the French Alps, or the Swiss Alps, sorry, the Swiss Alps, as part of that partnership, which is like pretty dope. I cannot believe I get paid to do this, right? Like, this is my actual full-time job. And we bring in all sorts of random aircraft too. So like this Russian Mi-2, a B-25, like sick. They let me like do a bunch of bounces in it. I got to open the bomb bay doors. I don't know, it just seemed like a pretty cool thing. And then flying some C-12s around. But the point of all that is like, I was, you know, it was a no call the first time, but I kept doing stuff, right? So always moving forward. So then I got called to do the interview process yet again, starting all the way at the beginning, which was pretty cool. Went through the first round, went through the final round again. This is the group with the final round. You may recognize a few faces in this picture. That's Anna Menon in the middle, who was the SpaceX astronaut, who is also an astronaut now, like a NASA one. So then, yeah, you go through the same process again, you know, trying to get back into like the best shape of your life and like, you know, put on your best smile and best interview, and then you wait, and then you wait, and then you wait some more, and then, yeah, I'm not in this picture either. So, but it's crazy because like, yeah, like I went to grad school with her and like I've flown with these people. Like it's the same story all over again. So just because it didn't work out, like, again, you get to meet some pretty cool people. So for me in the future, I got a pretty good thing going now. I'm teaching up there for a few more years. In terms of the Army, I'm hoping to take command of the flight test unit for that, which is down at Redstone Arsenal in the near future. We will see how that works. And that's when this new future vertical lift thing's gonna be showing up. So hopefully I'll be like the dude down there when that's coming off the production line for the first time. So that's pretty much what I've got. So just a recap of the corny lessons that I threw in here, which is, you know, definitely work your butt off if you want to do any of these things or none of these things. Just, you know, it takes a lot of work, and you should definitely, like, especially when you're younger, like, you want to focus on getting that grind in early, because it just gets harder when you get older and there's like families and kids and stuff, which I don't have, but like that was a deliberate choice. Anyways, yeah, don't be afraid to try new things, because you may learn a few things that you like and a few things that you don't. Stuff happens, just it's better that you learn from it and keep moving, right? Like crashing a seaplane. Follow your dreams wherever they may lead. Find your passion, whatever that is, if it's space or airplanes or whatever, and then don't stop moving forward. So with that being said, do we have any questions?
I'll be happy to go first if no one else had any questions. But one thing I wanted to ask about, as many of us are in that point in our lives of trying to navigate that next chapter, right? Post-college, going into a career, could you give some tidbits of wisdom? Because obviously the military's worked out quite well for you, but it may not be the path for everybody, or perhaps some people aren't sure. So could you walk through rather what things to look out for? Like if you are like this, then it would be the sign for you to go to the military, or, you know, what have you. Yeah, so to be clear, like, I don't think you have to go into the military to like experience, like you don't have to be in the military to be an astronaut if that's like your goal. If you want to be a test pilot, I think it helps to go into the military, mostly because like a lot of these places you have to have a certain number of hours before you can even apply, right? And so like when I came through, I think it was like 1,000-hour minimum, like just to even like put in a packet. And so like, you know, that costs a lot of money if you do that out of pocket on the side, and takes a long time. Whereas like on deployment, I did like 450 hours like on a single deployment, right? So like there are benefits, and plus like the military's obviously got some cool toys, right, if that's what you're into. But if it's not for you, there's still other ways that you can do it. I should have mentioned at Test Pilot School, we also have flight test engineers that come through, so you don't even have to be a pilot necessarily. If you're really into engineering and math and you want to like work on airplanes and like build new systems, like you don't have to build like weapons. Like we need people who are good at like coding, and people that are like electrical engineers, and they go through the school as well.
well, and we teach them like how to do the same flight test techniques. And unfortunately, they're the ones who end up usually writing the report like in the real world after test pilot school. Maybe that part sucks a little bit, but or there's also a blend. So and I was just chatting with Lance about this too. Like there are opportunities in like the Air National Guard or like the National Guard where you can basically like have a full-time job and you just like fly part-time for either like the Air Force, like the Air National Guard, or the Army National Guard. I know a few people who have done that. That guy Marcos Barrios that I mentioned, who's an astronaut, he was an Air Force guy, guard, flying like I think Blackhawks, and like got activated to full-time active duty status to go to test pilot school. So like it can be done. So in a long-winded way of answering your question, I think there's a lot of options in terms of like, if you want to go military, that's cool. You don't have to. If you want to go get a master's, like that's cool. If you want to go to industry and get the experience, like that's going to help you as well. So I think like there's no really like bad answers, like of things to do.
Thank you.
Probably could have just said that,
No, that's a good
but
answer.
yeah.
That's why we have these events.
So in your like astronaut like part of your career, did you know anybody who might have been an engineer but also became an astronaut?
Let me go back to the picture here and see. Well, so not all of them. So when you apply to be an astronaut, you have to pick a category to apply. And I think if people have looked at it, or if you haven't, I would highly recommend like checking out the application, even if you're not eligible, if it's something you want to do, because there's like 5 different camps. There's like jet pilot, like flight tests, medical doctor, like operations, and like I forget the other one. But they don't always take one from each group. It sort of depends on the mission that NASA's doing. But there are like some people in here, like the girl I went to grad school with, she was like a planetary scientist, like, and I think one of the other girls was just like a straight up engineer. Like she wasn't a test pilot, and she applied and got in. So like, yeah, you can definitely do that. Or if you want to go to med school, if that's your jam, that's another route. But I would just say like, do whatever interests you, right? Because like in my case where I was like singularly focused on doing this, like, and everything I did in my life was like gearing towards this, like, I also just love flying and doing all those things, right? And so the fact that I didn't get in, like, I'm still happy, like, doing what I'm doing, right? Like, so you don't want to like purposely build your career around that would be my advice. But yeah, because like I hate to say it, but it's like more like just percentage wise, right? It's more common that you won't get picked than you will, right? So you might as well like do something you love, and then if it works out, it works out. So yeah.
Are you hoping possibly for another opportunity?
Yeah, we'll see. I've probably got one more left in me before I age out.
What's the age out?
There's not like a hard cut. I think this second dude on the right, from the right, I think he was like 45 or something. So like, I've probably got like one more before I really hang it up. I don't know. It's definitely like a bit of an emotional roller coaster going through that process. So like the thought of like, oh yeah, let me just start all over again is like, so if you'd ask me in like a year and I'll be like, oh yeah, dude, I'm all in, let's go. But right now I'm like, oof. So yeah, I'll probably throw it in. It can't hurt, right? Like to try. And honestly, like if there are people here that want to do it as well, even if you don't meet the requirements, like just put in an application. Like you're gonna learn so much from like doing the application process, because it's through like USA Jobs, which is like the federal government hiring.